So welcome guys to the MFW show number 33.
33 weeks of this wonderful communication device slash show to speak with you guys every week, to give you guys information about what we got coming out, what we got going on.
Rojas, you hear that? That's yours. Got your gun right now shooting. It's purring.
John O'Grime, I am not the producer. Zero chance. We just have to, it's a one-man operation over here, so we got to do a lot of stuff. Welcome back to the show. Like I was saying before, we got cut off. Thank you guys yesterday for watching the Maritime Milsim show. It's a real pleasure to be on the show with those guys. Really like what they're doing over there. It was really cool to talk about the PTR, Callista. It was really cool to be on there with you.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Meet, kind of talk to a different audience that we don't necessarily get on our show. It's cool to be with the other side up there in Canada and kind of meet with their fans and kind of learn some stuff about them. So great news. Bradley from the Maritime Milsim show is going to show me how we can have guests on our show.
Right.
So now we can start having some of you guys possibly on the show and really find out what's going on around the U.S., which I think is really going to add a new dynamic to the show, and it's also going to allow you guys in different areas to communicate with that person.
Right.
So very, very excited. We might have some celebrities on here. We have Wolf. Bring Callista on here. A bunch of people that
players.
Yeah, players and stuff.
Weekly random players.
Yeah, maybe some field owners. I can get some field owners down here.
Right.
I think it would be really cool. But I'm really excited about that because I think that's one thing that I would love to have a lot of you guys on the show that we don't get to see. Dusty Hatfield, Timothy Brooks, and really let people hear what you have going on different parts of the U.S. Stan Dillard, all that, even around the world if possible.
Right.
So I think our first guest would probably be Tier 1 Armament, Steve Rote and those guys up in Canada. They're going to be having the PTR up there very soon, hopefully. Steve didn't tell us when he was going to bring those up there, but he will.
He's working on it. He's working on it, trying to get the logistic and get his website and all that good stuff up, so that way you guys can just go to the site and pick what you want, and then they can ship directly to you. That's great. That's we're able to get upgrade on our live stream system because Jonathan was on there yesterday, and we love the interaction that it has. Having different guests on there, I think will bring our live stream to a whole new level.
Yep. Nightmare PV. Hopefully, we can get it to where you are not working, and you can be on the show because we'd like to have you on there. I'm working on your Honey Badger PTR right now, bud. We're just waiting on the barrel nut for the handguard. So, other than that, moving forward with the show today, as you saw in the title, we'll talk about tune your PTR, tune your 468. Recently, we've received a lot of questions from new PTR owners as well as 468 2017 edition owners that had a lot of questions about the springs that you're getting. So KT released the PTR shooting video. Was it 2 weeks ago now?
About 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago, and he kind of explained a few of the springs a little bit, and how they work. And I kind of wanted to reiterate a lot of that because I still get a lot of questions from a lot of different people regarding the springs and how to optimize performance on the 468. So we're going to start the show off with that, and I'll get into the auction gun, and we'll talk about some other stuff. The 468, okay, is with the new 2017 edition, you have a one-piece upper with the Gen 2 Javelin, all right? For those of you who have a multi-piece upper that are trying to use a Javelin, it's a different conversation. You need to contact me. The multi-piece upper is problematic with the Javelin. We've made that announcement several times. If it really comes down to this, if you're going to be shooting first strikes, get a 2017 468 or PTR. If you're not going to be shooting first strikes and you don't plan on doing so, get yourself the 2016 edition 468. That's the separation of the two systems, or the two versions, I should say. when you get your 468, your PTR, you're going to get this pack of springs. You're going to get the colored and the smaller ones, and then you get one high velocity or a higher velocity or higher tension gold spring with that. Okay, these are very important because when we chrono them here, when we test them before they're shipped out to you, the PTR is a little bit different because KT or I QC those personally, but for the 468s, they're going to be chronoed with paintball, and they're going to leave this facility at 260 or 280, depending on where they're at. That's QC control for us. Now, if you want to tune it, that's going to come down to utilizing these springs. That's going to be something that you're going to have to take and shoot on your own to find out where you want it to be. Now, for those of you, this concept, this is really all I should have to say, is if you're going to test your paintball gun, okay, whether the 468 PTR with paintball, and then you go and shoot first strikes, your velocity is more than likely going to increase significantly. So you have to keep that in mind. If you're going to chrono and test tune with first strike, because you're going to be shooting more of that, then do that first. Now, that doesn't mean waste first strikes. That means create a t-shirt catch. Somebody asked me to do a video on that. I think I'm going to. I know Jin, he has a good idea with bed sheets, but you do not have to waste first strikes, guys, to test your marker. You take a cardboard box, you can put 2 t-shirts in it, a bed sheet, and you just lay the t-shirts about 5 inches from each other and shoot into that box. The first strikes will hit the t-shirt and they'll fall down. They're not going to break. You can just pick them up, put them back in the box, take them to the field. But that way you can chrono. So ideally, what KT talked about in his video, if you're going to test with, for the 468 specifically, you're going to test with round ball, you're going to have to keep that in mind. If you chrono that at 280, then you try to shoot first strikes, depending on the barrel, output pressure of your tank, and all that, it will most likely increase and probably be over 300. So you're going to want to chrono or tune your round ball to about 245, 250, and then when you shoot first strikes, you'll be solid at 280 to 285.
Right.
Variables to think about: output pressure of your tank, ultimately, and the barrel and projectile package that you're using. Those are going to influence the consistency as well as FPS drastically, and it's going to allow for inconsistencies if the output pressure is not consistent, or your barrel's overboard or underboard, etc. So those are all things to think about. If you have problems, contact me directly or KT. If he's too busy, he'll forward it to me, and I'll kind of go step by step on how we can troubleshoot. Once you get your output pressure and your barrel set up to the projectiles you're going to be using, it'll be a lot easier to just rely on the projectile itself, and then that's all you really have to worry about. So, but those other factors are important, and that's what KT talked about in the PTR video. We'll have that up for reference. It's already on our YouTube channel, so you can go to it and you can listen to how KT did it, and then how ultimately the PTR shot with the combination of what we were using.
So the tank, one thing we found out recently too, even the tank that we're using, the 13 side tank, even from tank to tank, your velocity will also be different. We recently got one of our customer in Colombia, UK, Mexico. Some about the bolt that was sputtering.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was Mexico.
Mexico. He has one of our bolt markers, and it was sputtering, and he tried like 5 different tanks and still sputter. And finally, he tried one of the tank, an old tank that he has, an old 13 set he has, and boom, working perfectly, velocity stable and everything. So that's to tell you that from tank to tank, from production to productions, it may change. So when you have a situation where the unit's not firing properly, first thing, check air, try CO2, any tank that you have access to, put it on and see what happens before you kind of trying to tear it apart and trying to diagnose a problem that maybe not there, maybe something else, maybe external on a separate system, like a tank or a remote line or something that causing the unit not to get the full airflow that it should be getting. Maybe starting from air and you're not getting velocity, you're not getting the cycling that you should be getting. So check that out before you kind of try to take it apart.
there's a lot of steps, guys, on troubleshooting a lot of the markers, and I talk about it in the welcome guide. KT's talked about it in the installation guides for a lot of the, like the bolt, the vortex. Just because something's going wrong, don't take it apart, because what happens, what I've seen more commonly than not, is when it gets taken apart, it gets put back together incorrectly, and now more problems arise from that part.
Right.
So before you take it apart, contact us first, especially if it's new. Because, like I said, when they leave our facility, they're test fired with about 40 to 60 rounds of paintball. They're chronoed, and then they're ultimately checked for leaks and all that stuff right after they're built. So we here test with different tanks. So our tech has a scuba tank and a different tank, and then ultimately our QC guy has a different tank that he uses specifically on every gun. So it's important for you to check that. You want to know the output pressure of your tank, make sure that that is consistent. The Ninja tanks, we will be testing those here from now on for every batch that we get, just to make sure that they are consistent, so those problems don't arise when you receive the marker. Because we ship those tanks empty, so we don't test with the tank that you're receiving usually.
Right.
So that's one thing that we are going to be checking from now on. But you guys can ultimately check that too. It's very easy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different regulators out there that are better quality than others, especially from Ninja, the V2, which is very nice, very consistent. So
Jet was asking update on the 468. Are you talking about, Jet, the updating the 468 to a PTR, like the upgrade plan that we're offering, or you're talking about like an upgrade for features? Kind of clarify that so we can give you an answer on that.
Jimmy Westman, like I said, man, you got to give me a call, because if there's a leak, there's only one place in the 468 for it to leak. Now that we fixed the porthole issue that we had in the past, that's 100% leak proof. The only other place would be the poppet, and that would just mean that either there got some debris in there or something like that, or it's not sealing correctly. But usually you can take the valve cover off and then replace it with the extra poppet that we gave you, and that will fix the problem.
Oh, it's not leaking anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, on the 468, like there's only one place it can leak now, is that from the poppet. That's just because of the striker just hitting it, open and close, and after a while, some of them can wear out before the other, but usually you can get good maybe 50,000 to 100,000 shot before it goes bad. If it does, I mean, I'm not saying that every unit going to get that far, but an average that we've seen on the number shot, 50 to 100,000 before it's actually go out. And if it does go out sooner, you just replace them. Each and every package that we sending out, we include an extra one in there. So if it go out early due to debris, something gets stuck in between there, swap it out. If we're doing later, you get just an extra one that's sitting there for you. Just whenever it goes bad, you just swap them out.
Christian Zamudio, what's the difference on the new 468? Well, the difference between 2016 and 2017 is the one-piece upper and the Gen 2 Javelin. The 2016 version is a multi-piece upper, and it has a Delrin bolt. Like I said, the difference between them both is going to come down to, do you want to shoot first strikes, or are you going to be shooting paintball only? That is really the main difference. That's the main conundrum that you as the player want to really think about if you're going to be purchasing these units. If you're going to be just shooting paintball, the 2016 version will work perfectly fine for you. If you plan on shooting first strikes at some point in your gameplay, then the 2017 version is probably going to get the best for you. Cody Evans, what consistency are you guys getting with the Gen 2 Javelin? So, that's a good question. KT did a video on the PTR shooting, and a lot of people were blown away by the consistency change. And the reason for that is because we've actually re-engineered the valve assembly or valve part of that marker, but it's only compatible with the PTR
at the moment.
But we will be getting those in shortly.
In next month, in about maybe 4 weeks or so, we have a new version of valve coming out for both the 468. The PTR we currently have an updated version, but we're gonna have another version coming out. So all you guys are getting a PTR now, we're gonna be contacting you to get you another valve version in the next month or so. It's actually an improved version from the current one we're using. It's gonna shoot a lot better and more consistent. So one of our goal now is to make the system shoot better than actually currently is. As we test them, shoot them, making all these changes that we're doing, the nuance in what we're gonna catch, we're able to update them for you guys. Jet was asking earlier about the backload 468. Okay, so we are. I know some of you guys already placed an order for them. We actually have a few units in stock, and we've been shipping them out as you guys order them. We put them out on the website early because we don't want an influx of them and get a massive order and we back order them. But we have, I think, a few units left in stock. So you want one, order it. Otherwise, we're gonna be not having them for you. Okay, so contact us before you place an order, but we're looking about 2 weeks to have more in. But you need one right away, just contact us and we'll get something out for you.
Let's see here. The shotguns, we got an update on that. A lot of people were asking. We should have those in next week, and me and KT are going to be doing some testing with those right out of the box, and probably a couple videos, and then we'll have an update for you on the show. What else? What else we got?
Well, I got something to show you guys. Joseph Rojas was in here earlier to get his PTR put together. It's finally got it was shot earlier when you guys when we started. We got the ambidextrous safety on for him. This is the
Strike Industries.
Strike Industry.
Ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous safety.
Oh, that is sweet.
When I first put it together, I thought that's the pointer. That's a safety, but it's this little guy right there. It's from here.
It's for multiple finger placement. So you have down or up, or you can go from the back.
It's not that you know how usually the lever, the thumb part is back here.
Yeah.
It's easier, but from all the way up here, it seemed like it's confused me because I would thought that the pointer's where the placement is, not where the big old paddle. But we'll get it in. And we did it with a file. With all the machinery we have here, we actually did it with a file. We filed because the safety have to have a little slot for the strike to move back and forth. So you guys, if you actually buy a mil-spec version,
what are you doing?
Is it good? No good? That's another new PTR owner there. We'll have him stop by and say hi later. But yeah, if you guys gonna get a mil-spec safety, you can compare the mil-spec version and the one that's on there. You can see where you need to put a little groove onto it, just a small groove, and you're able to put it on and it gets working for you.
But everything else is compatible. The trigger guard here, and you guys can contact Joseph Rojas if you want to find out where he got a lot of these parts. But this thing is sweet. I mean, all metal. All these parts are metal. Strike Industries. You got, what is this? Tyrant Designs. There's Falcor on here. Really awesome build. Really awesome build. As far as I know, he loves his PTR. I haven't seen it yet. I didn't really talk to him when he was in here earlier today, but as far as I know. So for those of you that were asking about real steel safety selectors, we'll do a mod video on how you can make those work, but we'll have that available for you. Someone was asking about triggers. We have already started looking into that, and we're actually going to be getting a few different options as samples to get them in, and then we'll offer those as well. Brian Foucher. But yeah, we will have something like that. For right now, the trigger, it will not use real steel triggers. There's a specific, if you get a PTR and you want to look at it and have something made, you can definitely do that. But it needs to be true to the spec there. Other than that, let's see. Real Steel magazine releases too. Jetlay, I don't know about that. I don't think that they would work, but it's something I got to look at because we were doing some experimenting on the MKP or the Hurricane Magwell with a mil spec version, and it worked. So it needed a little, excuse me, a little bit of modification, but that may work. So we can actually look into that. I'll test if I can find one around here or have someone bring one into me, and we'll take a look at that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Stan, you were the one that was looking at the triggers. The tagging rounds are up, guys. We still got them in. We got the dummy rounds up and the paladin marking rounds up. So if you have a grenade launcher, get yourself those tagging rounds. We're gonna probably be. I want to bring in some of the ICS launchers again. For those of you that want to run that, I already have quite a few taken up for Decay that I'm bringing down next weekend. So if you want one, make sure you get them ASAP. I know that the shells are a little expensive. Unfortunately, that's kind of how it is for everybody. They're not cheap, but you only need one or two at the most, and then the rounds themselves are kind of cheap. They're a lot on the cheaper end. You can get them from a couple different manufacturers, or I'm sorry, distributors. So let's see here. Decay is next weekend. Me and KT will both be there for that event, that game. Very excited about that. This should be a great game. Operation NWAR 8 is starting to come along here. They're making announcements and they're kind of giving a lot of updates. Jin was in here. He's watching the show right now. So if you guys are interested in finding out more information of Operation NWAR, you can go on their Facebook event page, Operation NWAR 8, or you can contact Jin or Joseph Rojas and all those guys, Mike Lovato. That's going to be a great game. I know SAS Central is going to be there. Callista, of course. She's a general there. And then hopefully get some more teams up there. I'd like to see a lot of the SoCal guys if they can make it up. It's going to be awesome. It's a full weekend of paintball. The field's really awesome. So hopefully we can get a good turnout there. Yeah, pre-register now for both of those events. I know Decay's still open for Callista. What team is it that not the Ekron one, the other side, right? That needs more registration? Let's see. Gabriel, we will have a couple PTRs down there at Decay for people to fondle appropriately, hopefully. But we will have some down there. I don't know what we're going to bring in. We haven't even sat down and talked about it.
We can have a lot of accessories. So from my experience with a lot of these events I go to, we bring a lot of little knickknacks here that you guys don't have access to, because the little things are the things that you don't normally able to go to a store or go online and buy one. So those are little things that we'll bring out, like silencers, most brakes, rails, sights, little things like that. And you can adjust your marker up as you. We'll have some markers out there too, but mostly accessories. Have you done the?
No, I'm going to do that right now.
Okay.
For the auction marker for today, you got this beast, Blizzard Sniper with the Uni drop down ASA. You got awesome eye relief on here with the DMA buttstock, 13 CI tank, shape projectile ready, of course, with the give you any color helix that you want, and then you also get one DMAG. This is the 12-inch Riz with the mil-spec barrel nut adapter, so you can actually swap this out for any mil-spec rail. You have a 7/8 inch Recon rifled with the Reaper suppressor, and this is a 3x9x32 raised optic scope. So we'll start off at $100, so we're already at $175, and we will. You guys will have that as today's auction gun.
Exactly as shown. Okay, so you get your air tank in the stock. You get your DMA buttstock. You get the scope, sights, and you get your silencer barrel. This is a pretty decent setup here.
Yeah, guys, make sure it's $10 increments, not $5, $10 increments. What was I going to talk? I was going to say something I forgot now. Don't make eye contact. Back away slowly. Let's see here. Does anyone have a question? Or I know Alex Hogan was in here. Some other people that have the PTR. Did you guys have any questions about the tuning that you didn't get from the video, or that you just want to clarify some stuff on? Same thing with the 468. So I know I didn't answer the question earlier. I don't know if it was Cody Evans or somebody else said, what type of consistency can you expect from your from the 468 Gen 2? So, like I was saying before, there's a lot of variables that come into play. First would be the output pressure of the tank. Second would be the barrel and projectile combination. So if you're using low quality projectiles, you're more than likely going to have very inconsistent FPS. If you're using higher quality projectiles, as in round ball with a bore matched barrel, you're going to have better compression. So there's a checklist here that I think me and KT over the past 3 weeks of testing we've done with the PTR and the DMR. If the output pressure is there, that's the first thing you're going to want to check. Make sure your tank has consistent output pressure. The next thing from there is dial in your projectiles you're going to be able to use. So if you have to use field paint, find out really what bore size it is. You can get yourself a hammerhead ball sizer, all that stuff, and then ultimately you're going to want to dial in your FPS with that projectile. Remember, if you tune your marker with paintball and you then go to first strikes, you're going to have an increase in FPS. That's a given. So keep that in mind. If you're going to shoot more first strikes, or you're going to shoot first strikes for that day, test beforehand, so that way you don't get to the chrono and be not knowing what you're doing. With the new 468s and the PTRs, you should not have to cut springs, which is what we were talking about before in the 2016 versions, and that was just because the springs you were getting at that time were very high powered and they did have a break-in period. So after, I would say, about 200, 300 shots, that spring would start to break in a little bit better, and then that consistency would get a lot tighter. So right now you could probably experience plus or minus 8, I would say, with the 2017 468 with just the basic of paintball. But like I said, you use higher quality round, you got higher quality, you use a better barrel that bore matches to that round, that'll tighten up as you continue to use it.
And the spring too.
The spring
will definitely help. I know Jonathan showed earlier, but you get a bunch of different springs, and you just shoot them and then find out which one's closest to what you want to shoot, because there are a couple different combinations of things that can occur. Your barrel, your balls, your air, all that can add up to what your velocity is going to be, and you're going to have to pick the right spring that's best suited for you. If you're in an area in UK particularly, when we ship out markers, they want it low so that the player can adjust it up. And here, you guys want different velocities, so we kind of give you the different option for you. Just go to a field, put some rounds down the range, and then just put the right spring in and kind of tune it to what you like. Well, I want you guys to welcome Michael.
Mike Roboto, East Bay Paintball Productions, also MagFed Legion, MF Tactical Mike. If you haven't seen his videos, we need to put more of the. When's the last? When did you update? You just put up a video the other day, a week ago. Yeah, we're gonna have to start putting those on the page, that way you guys can see them. Awesome videos. He's got a fully auto Hurricane, which is disgusting and scary. It's scary. Yeah. What do you guys got going on for MagFed Legion? You're playing this weekend, right?
This weekend's the Tactical Decision MagFed game at West Coast Adventures Park. We're actually going to be doing an early start, and I think Joseph is going to have the first game on the field like at 8 a.m.
Whoa.
Wow. That's almost unheard of.
Unless
early bird
unless
dinner, dude.
I don't know, he likes to mess with me sometimes. So I don't know if he was BSing or not. But as far as I know, the first game is going to start at 8 a.m. So
Wow.
Actually, that's good. You know, you
Yeah.
start early,
Mhm.
nice and cool before the
nice
sun
and
comes
cool.
up. Yeah.
And you have a PTR now, I heard.
And I have a PTR now. My wife is very mad. She gets alerts in the Chase app when I spend a certain amount of money. So
Oh,
she
man.
just told me that she gave that away. I didn't know that. So.
My lady watches this show. I got to be careful with all that. 'cause
Right.
I don't
Well, that's
think
what
she
the new
knows about
job
this.
is for, right?
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. We should really do a statistic on the divorce rate of MagFed players
That's not even fun.
around the
That's not even
world.
funny.
Oh man.
We get that a lot. I get that a lot personally. I actually had a gentleman, I'm not going to say his name, but he actually skipped sex with his wife to watch my Unicus video. So I don't know about that for me personally, but that was the funniest email I think I've ever received. I had to show KT right when I got in here this morning.
Yeah, I
It
read
was
it.
pretty good. It was pretty good.
It's like a secret admirer of yours.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't escalate into something where I need legal action. But we'll go from there. Where's your PTR? You want to go show people what you got? For those of you that have the PTR now, I would really, really, really like, I've already said to some of you guys, but I'd really like to have any type of media. If you want to shoot a video on your phone, kind of giving me your impressions and your honest reviews of what you think about it, that would be great, and send those in to me. I just want to hear some feedback, either negative or positive. It doesn't matter, but I want to hear more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, I mean, you've seen the PTR in here before, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you shot Joseph yet?
No.
No. Have you seen him shoot it?
No.
No. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to find out I'm gonna ask you on Monday how it went on Sunday when you go there.
Oh,
So,
for sure. I'll be doing a video on that one, and yeah, here she is. She's beautiful. Can't wait.
He's one of the
use her.
there was a couple guys that actually would submit a video, but runs the olive drab. I love the olive drab. I don't know why more people don't. I think for us it's a slow mover as far as accessories. I don't know why. I think olive drab, especially out here, in the winter time or the fall time where the grass is a little bit greener. But olive drab just looks amazing, especially if all the accessory colors are matching. Just like Joseph's, a lot of people have red, the race gun stuff, but their reds are like all different tones. This is spot on the same all the way across.
Yeah,
So-
that's a beautiful gun.
Are you gonna do any
No,
upgrades from there?
I wish
or-
he left his butt stock.
Oh, he's got
Oh.
a really crazy.
Yeah, he
butt
took
stock,
it with
really
him.
nice.
So
My upgrades, I keep it simple. I have a really nice scope on there for first strikes, and actually, Mike put this gun together for me, and it's just been perfect since I got it. It's
I was
great.
going to mess it up.
I don't want to mess it up. Yeah,
No, we would mess it
I
up.
don't know where to take it after that. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, when you see Mike out on the field, hey.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's easy man to get a hold of.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Yeah, Dusty Hatfield, Timothy Brooks, those are all guys that are going to be in the PTR thing. Brian Foucher, once I get that PTR to you, I know you'll do a couple videos.
Right.
I'm really excited to get you yours. You've been using a Gen, 4 or 5, 4, 6, 8?
Gen 1. we actually take a little longer, Brian, because we're doing some custom build for you. Where Jonathan is picking some specific parts.
I know you wanted a honey badger.
Right.
So the honey badger I built before.
It's come. Believe it or not, it comes with a jar of honey.
Yeah. I
It's
don't know how that's going to get across the border. I know how those Canadians are with honey, but we'll figure it out. Let's see. But yeah, for those of you guys that have the PTR currently, Alex Hogan, if you guys want to post to the page, send me an email where I can kind of release this information to everyone that has the PTR, for new owners and stuff like that. There is a PTR owners group now that's headed by. Is Joseph in that? I know Jeremy's an admin.
Jeremy's doing
Jeremy
it.
Lubecker is an admin.
Somebody's gonna have to send me an
Smuggle it
invite.
in.
now.
Yeah, you have to
Send me an
add.
invite, Jeremy.
Send Michael here an invite. But there's an owners group for that now. You can go in and ask questions. I can go in there and see your questions and things like that. We've already started off with really well with a lot of support videos. So for people want to understand the trigger, KT's already did a video on that. I did a video on the installation for those of you that are just getting the lowers. Somebody asked, quite a few people asked me last week, will we be doing a trade-in program for the 468?
We do. Once we're caught up with the lower that we're building, when we have enough of it, then we're gonna able to do trading for you guys. Basically, you just need the upgrade lower assembly. That's it. So you just one assembly, send it in, and then we'll do an upgrade for you. If you can wait, I think we're about maybe a month or 2 months behind. Once we are able to have enough built, then we can have that up for you guys, and you guys can start doing the trading.
So yeah, be patient with us for a little bit. We want to get caught up on all the orders and get all the guys that have that are doing the before October 20th purchases for the 10-year warranty and the upgrades. We want to take care of them first, and then we will have that basically the trade-in program for that. So let's see here. What happened to
I need that flag that big. Oh yeah. This flag here is 15 feet long, wide, 15 feet wide, and then 10 feet tall. It's huge. We don't have a handful of it. Here. But we do have the 5 feet by 3 feet. If you guys want one of those, just let us know. We'll send you one of those.
Let's see here. Sorry, I lost the feed real quick. It said that it wasn't. Kind of froze.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Speaking of earlier, talking about Maritime Milsim Show, Bradley Odell is here viewing with us.
Awesome.
Very nice to have you, my friend. So like I said, when you guys see an upgrade or an update with the program, and we are going to have Bradley on the show here from Maritime Milsim and those guys, you can thank him for all of that. He's going to show me tomorrow how we can have guests on the show. That's, like I said, one thing we've been really wanting to do. But having people here that are local, that drive down to be on the show, that's pretty cool. So Jose Ledesma, what's the deadline for October 20th? That is the deadline to purchase the complete PTR and get the 10-year warranty as well as the free upgrades that come later on for the PTR. Yes, Bradley, you are teaching everyone how to do it. So I definitely we will thank you for that.
Jimmy, that's the compressor to fill up the CO2 cylinders. We use hydraulic pump powered by shop air, 100 psi that drive the liquid CO2 into the tank. It's really quick, probably the most efficient way of filling CO2 cylinders, and that's what we have walk-in customers that get their tank filled, and that's what we use.
They get their keg tanks filled.
Oh yeah.
Rarely ever refill paintball CO2
I know, it's
anymore.
funny.
It's all kegerators and stuff now. They heard through the grapevine of AA that these guys refill kegerator tanks. So let's see here. Do we have anything new that's coming in?
We have a couple new product that's coming in. I think next week gonna be a beautiful week for us. We have. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but we have some really nice product to show you guys next week. We're kind of building it up. So several new products that are going to be coming out in the next 2 to 4 weeks.
A lot of little stuff, but it's like functional little stuff, like
you guys gonna love
anticipated stuff that everyone's gonna want for a lot of different markers. So
someone was asking about Uzi. We are working on a stand. For some time now. It's we kind of stopped that project a little bit to make something else, but we're making a stand, and it has a dedicated magazine. And once we build that stand, we will use that same magazine to make an Uzi, because it's a stand is kind of like a smaller magazine, kind of like a long 15-round magazine. It's side-fed. It's
gold
stainless steel.
68. Remember that first
It's
one?
actually pretty cool. We actually have some of them sample that I can show you guys one of these days, but we've been it's been on the shelf for about 2 years now. We have not made any further progress on that because we want to hack some other project out first. Once that's done, we're gonna go back to the Sten project and build the Uzi for it. Because build any gun, we need to have the feeding system for. Right now, there's only 2 kind of small magazine. One, you have your ZMAG is kind of flipped. We don't. I kind of don't like that. And then you have your the true feed from Tipman is kind of plasticky, so we're not gonna make that. The Sten magazine made of not stainless steel, but kind of steel, sheet steel. So it's thin, it's small, it's compact. We're working on not just doing 1 feed, actually it's dual feed too. It's kind of like a D-Max system there, so you get a lot more rounds for the compact side that it is. So that's what we're working on. So hopefully once that's done, then we can actually build more system behind that magazine rather than just kind of build a system based on the current existing magazine. Kind of once we build that, kind of we have to stuck to it. You know how it goes. You build a system and you use a standard that's already out there, and you got to stuck to that standard. It's tough to kind of maneuver from that. So we're gonna take our time to get it right.
The Hydra, all that stuff, guys. The Hydra is being worked on right now, currently with KT and a very smart gentleman there working. He's working on it right now to troubleshoot some issues. I talked about it a little bit on the Maritime Milsim show yesterday, but we will update you guys as soon as we can. The Tornado is done right now. We're pretty much getting in there. We're pretty much getting that all ready to be put into production now. So
it's in the mold process at the moment. So we're making a cast of the body, and we're able to inject aluminum alloy into it. So once that process is done, then we'll start making the bodies. And once the body's done, then we'll start making all the component for it. We should be showing a video on the next couple months. You can check it out, see how it looks. But right now we're kind of not showing until we get to the point where we're almost going to release it. Then you get to see what it looked like.
Let's see here. What else did they say? Oh, the auction gun. I'll go ahead and go through that one more time. Somebody was asking about that. It's a Blizzard sniper. Uni drop down. ASA. Great eye relief for the DMA buttstock. 13 CI tank. Shape projectile ready. Blizzard. 13-inch Riz. Oh, it's 12-inch. 12-inch Riz with the mil-spec barrel nut adapter, so you can add any mil-spec rail. 7/8-inch Recon rifle with the Reaper suppressor and a raised 3x9x42 or 32. I'm sorry, scope.
32, yep. 32, 36, 32.
No, 32. And so if you guys are looking for a affordable sniper platform for FSR, this is a great option. A lot of people think you need to have the DMR, but
yeah,
these will work if you, like I said, you combine a solid barrel with the shape projectiles. Great performance. You run smaller shaped barrels on your markers, right?
Yep.
So
it's a 6-inch hammerhead on here.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So it's got the and this is like deadly accurate, like at least at 80 yards.
Wow.
I don't need it. Honestly, I don't need a DMR. Like this is a DMR for me out there.
Well, with the right barrel and the right rounds, yeah, you definitely can achieve that.
I think a lot of people too. I don't know very many people, even Hidden Hedgehog, that's boasting about 100-yard shots in a game. I don't know how many. I don't even know how many fields are actually you get 100 yards. So that in my opinion, you really got to pick and choose what you're really looking for. The DMR looks amazing. Mm-hmm. It really does. It's an amazing piece of machinery, especially now with the redesigned, re-engineered valve. Wow. We were doing some testing, like I said, for the past 2 weeks, and unbelievable.
We have not done that much shooting in a while.
Yeah, not in a long time. So those are all things to think about. We get a lot of people come in the chat, and they're like, "What's your best marker?" It's all opinion based. I mean, you run the 468, now you got a PTR, and you have a Hurricane, and what else do you have? You have a Hammer 7.
I have a Hammer 7 that I modded into a sniper rifle, and then I have a Tip-X that I run also.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with us, paintball players. We don't really have one.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
And I want a shotgun next.
Right. That's what we heard.
Should do a Blizzard Sniper versus DMR. Daniel, that would be. I mean, you have to keep in mind that the internal system of those two markers are very different. You have a blow forward and then you have a blow back system. So efficiency, the DMR, and the power that's capable of that particular marker would outweigh the Blizzard very, very far. So
it just depends on how far you're shooting. If you're shooting at about 80 yards, it won't be an issue. They come pretty much comparable. But if you're doing beyond that, beyond 80 yards, 100 yards, and so on beyond, then the DMR, that's where you can actually see the difference.
These guys are so funny.
For the auction, why don't we end the auction early so that way people can know what to aim for? So in about 10 minutes, guys, 5:50 our time. I don't know what you guys, so in about 10 more minutes, right?
So it's 5:40 now.
In our time, about 10 minutes, we're gonna end it. So whoever want to auction for it can auction for it. That way we can end that and get out of the way.
So we talked about being at Decay next weekend.
Oh yeah. It's a huge event. I mean, last year they said they have about 2,400 people there. So this year they said they got 2,000 registered already. That's what the word in the street is. So don't take my word for it. well, there's really no way of kind of verifying that other than
when we get there and see how they're doing, how many people are actually on the field playing. That field, the SC Village can definitely handle that many people. Oh, yeah. Hands, no problem.
And the thing about it too is they have their DK event on top of their walk-on. So even
they don't shut down operations for that.
Weekly walk on like a day, just Saturday, Sunday, have over 500 people just walk on.
They average 850. The last time I spoke to Gio at when I was at Ted Offensive, he said they average around 800 to 1,000 players every weekend.
Wow!
So
just a weekend.
Walk-ons, that's birthday parties and all that too. So
that's almost as big as any huge event out there.
Yeah.
So, and what the thing about it down south. They go paintballing on Friday. That's their thing. Instead of people clubbing, they go paintballing. So it's a place to be, guys.
He's got lights over there too. I forgot about that. Yeah. They're open till like 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I think, too.
Like I said, they
that'd be pretty sweet, man.
Work.
Yeah, after work, just go out there for a couple hours, and that's pretty neat.
So
we need to have that.
Not here. I mean, down south. The problem, like we're talking about the population density, right? So up here where we are. 1 million people, in a 30 miles radius. Down there, they get millions within like an hour, 20 million people. So they have the volume of players that these fields can support to keep the doors open. Up here, you open a field like that, 10 people shows up, and most time when I go play around here, 20 people at a field. And like I'm saying, I'm lucky if I get a 20 on 20. I'm talking about just regular rec ball with a hopper, magazine. Doesn't matter what you shoot, but I'm lucky to get a 20 on 20. Down there,
you're lucky. It's a rare occurrence if you have a 20 on 20. Like people must have been sick. They're a natural disaster, where they're not getting that many players. Brian Avery, will MagFed gun market ever be as diverse as airsoft product wise? Wow.
I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon, just because of the fact that each and every company make their own magazine, and magazine itself is hard to make and very expensive to make. For us in the Helix system, we probably outdo almost, I would say we probably have more Helix magazine out there than anybody out there, but still nobody's adopting our magazine, and our magazine quite inexpensive too. And in comparison, it's compared to everybody else, it's up. I mean, it's inexpensive enough where a player can afford to use them, and the volume that we're able to produce, we can actually pass a discount on to other manufacturer if they choose to take it, but nobody want to do that. Everybody want to make their own magazine. I mean, every manufacturer have their own magazine, their own feeding system. Nobody want to take anybody. So that's a barrier in itself. So for any manufacturer to come in and make a marker, they need to make their own magazine. And making a magazine is as complex or even more complex than making a marker itself. Why that is because of a launcher system, the technology is already out there. Say, valve system is there, but magazine is not. You have to come up with your own version magazine, or you can copy an existing one. If you're going to copy an existing one, well, you have to reverse engineer. Reverse engineering is twice as hard as making something new. That means all the geometry, all the specification got to match what they're currently using. It's tough. We done it because when we did our conversion kit for Tipman 9885X7, we have to reverse engineer all of their components. Every single aspect has to match. Otherwise, your component can't fit in there. Then it doesn't work. And we know the amount of resource that it takes to reverse engineer, and most company won't do it. That's my opinion in itself. And for us, even we could only do one project at a time. Right now we have multiple projects running, but they're different product. We don't make new guns. Just okay, let's make this version. It doesn't happen like that. So right now we focus on 3 projects. We're just doing a pistol. The magazine is the Hydra, and 3 is the round itself, the shape round. Those 3 projects, they're different enough they can be done at the same time, but I don't know we can handle another load for another markers unless we have additional resources to do that. That's like I said, it's not going to happen anytime soon. I don't see it.
It's difficult too because I mean you're talking about a lot of different like airsoft is a wide range. I mean most of the airsoft guns that you see stem from an AR platform. Even most of them are all real steel counterparts. No one's just making up a gun, an airsoft gun.
Right.
Airsoft guns come from licensed firearm manufacturers that they're making into the replica version. So, I mean, no one's just making an airsoft gun, and it's the first of its kind.
And the magazine is compatible.
Yeah, the magazine is compatible.
Yeah.
So, if you see like Galil's
right.
and FAMAS and all that, different guns, different styles of loading, but same mags. So, Scars, the same thing. You have they're all different guns, but they use the same magazine.
Right.
For paintball, it's difficult to do that. Not only that, but if you look at the body structure from the real steel counterpart, we have to put a paintball engine into it. We have to have an engine that's going to propel a much larger caliber projectile, and then ultimately you have to adapt to it and now another projectile, a shape projectile.
Right.
So the dynamic and the engineering process is very complex, and that's a lot of work for what? I mean, you put a lot of time into making a gun. What if people don't really want that anymore?
Right.
Like we have going to be releasing the first ever dedicated AK platform, and we didn't just do a standard AK because everyone and their mom, even their grandmother, has the AK accessories that were available from when we had the Takamo release, and then we also had from the T68, etc. But in AK-12, there's not even very many airsoft guns that are dedicated AK-12.
And we built on top of a kit too, so we know it's a safe bet. We built on top of the Tipman X7 Classic, so all those millions of X7 Classic out there, they can actually bring it out. So we built on top of that. So to us, it's a pretty safe bet and to make that model because it's out there already. We just don't do just a kit, but also the whole marker. That's why it's a good project to pursue on earlier because we know that we're able to get that resources back and able to put that resource into the next project quickly.
And there is definitely probably 1 million X7s out there in the world right now.
Right.
And they've been discontinued from Tipman for what, a couple of years now, 3 or 4 years.
They have been discontinued for about, I would say, six years. 6 years because they just cut off because
the
Tipman,
Phenom.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is, when Tipman they discontinue a product, they support all the parts for 5 years. So now you can't really get Tipman X7 parts anymore. So when we're gonna build our gun, we're gonna have to. Well, we have most of the valves ready, so we have our own trigger frame and all the components. So if you guys looking for parts to replace on your X7, we would have all the parts for you, every part. So if you need that, we're able to support you that for the mag-fed version. Okay, if you're gonna shoot the hopper version on your X7, we don't have it. We can't support you. But you're doing the mag-fed version. You're doing the AK-12. yes, we'll have all the parts to support you.
And that's just going to be another option for you guys as the players to have, and increase your collection. I think the AK platform, and for those of you who don't know what the AK-12 is, look it up. It's the first photo that you see in Google Images. It's the futuristic version of the AK, which I think just that alone is ahead of its time um, in the industry. Not very many people do that. And then, of course, when we release the pistol, that'll be very different as far as its look, its how it functions, etc. And then, of course, the price point is just a plus. But those types of things, it's just about creating options. I think MagFed will continue, in my opinion, the way that we're, KT and Omar are innovating and creating projects. Is we have a solid line right now. We've fixed a lot of the issues that we had in the past, and it's good to focus on the PTR, because that, I believe, is really going to be an evolution, especially with the upper receiver and the through round burst and the full auto kit. So that'll be great.
All right, guys, you have, I think, Felix Gonzalez.
Felix Gonzalez, you got the auction, my friend.
Well done.
Congratulations again. He's picked up a couple of our guns.
No, this is actually
that's it.
250. That's it.
Wow.
Well, if you look at this
260.
Yeah. You look at this air tank system alone, right? This part alone runs you like $100 easy. So this is not a deal. It's a steal.
Yeah.
KT steals.
Yeah.
Were you selling only one PTR DMR? Okay. We talked about this last week. The PTR DMR, the first one that we released, is the Unicus gun that Jimmy Westman has got. You need to pay your invoice, buddy. But he will have the first one of its kind, and with the new re-engineered valve and all that, modded valve, and then I'll give you the new one when we get it in. But we have talked about it. We just haven't decided when we're going to release them officially. We are waiting on the new valves, so we're probably going to wait until we get those in.
And we want to put the best engine in there rather than get you guys a modded version and then a month later and then get you a replacement. I think that's too close to do that. So we decided to go ahead and wait for it, because the DMR, we want you to have the best valve possible to get that better shots. For the semi version, it's not as critical. We want to get a good shot, but not the best. That's why we're going to wait a little bit, like another month, to launch that PTR DMR version for you.
Let's see. Anyone have any questions before we sign off here? Like I said, next week, hopefully, Bradley sorts us out on how to bring people on the show, and hopefully next week it's going to be a great episode. We have a lot of, like I said, a lot of products that we're going to be releasing officially, and then hopefully we'll have a special guest as well. It might be Bradley. So we'll probably go under there. So do firearm companies not make much interest in licensing the looks of their products to paintball companies due to the belief the sport isn't large enough for it to be worthwhile?
I don't think that it's not that they will not license. I don't think that any paintball company cares to get the license for it. I don't think any company want to have an interest in making it. It's not this the way around. I don't think any company paintball company is interested in making a replica version of firearms, because when you get into that, then you have to pay license, you have to pay royalty, pay this, pay that. Nobody want to pay that. I mean, unless you get twisted by the arm, then you pay for it.
Well, if you look at the airsoft companies now that do it, if you're familiar with them,
right.
There's heavy hitters, and just like we have here, like we would consider GI, there's heavy hitters in the airsoft world too that are pretty much the only ones that are releasing new weapons or new airsoft guns all the time. The ones that you see that are kind of lingering in the industry, that are the ones that are putting out lower end, the more of the basic second-hand type of platforms, you don't see the licensing, like EMG, Salient Arms now, Umbrella Armories, even Daniel Defense has airsoft guns that are licensed by them now. All these firearm manufacturers are building and partnering up with these larger airsoft companies that make the higher end, higher quality guns, and they are now releasing special edition stuff. Spike Industry or Spike's Tactical has some stuff that are coming out. What's the other one? Ares has partnered up with I forgot somebody else, but you'll see.
But that's a point. That's a point is that the paintball, just that the manufacturer themselves not interested in making them. It's not the way around. I think firearms company would love to license out their design or their intellectual property to get their brand out there. They love to. Why wouldn't they, right? Because it doesn't cost them anymore. It would give them so much to gain. They get their brand recognition, get additional revenue for just for nothing, basically.
It's in transition. Yeah. It's basically what you would think of marijuana as a segue drug, maybe. MagFed and airsoft is that to shooting sports. When these firearm companies get involved with airsoft and if they ever did with the MagFed company, it gives people a taste of what they can expect on the real steel side.
Right.
And that alone will bring people to their product. And that's kind of either that or that's our ideology. But does it really work? I don't know, because the age demographic for airsoft is all over the place, all over the spectrum.
Yeah.
But I think from a MagFed perspective, because our age bracket is a little bit on the older side, people who actually are old enough to own a gun, I think it may be beneficial, but it really would come down to whether a manufacturer would want to get involved with something like that, and you would have to really choose who, because there's a lot of firearm manufacturers out there. Picking the right one that's going to remain profitable, where you don't lose your ass on, like you said, the licensing, the royalties. That's pretty complicated. I think you see it right now on the airsoft side, because we have a lot of airsoft walk-ins and stuff here. There's a lot of firearm companies that are kind of coming out of the woodwork that were mom and pop shop machinery places, and now they're manufacturing full-fledged accessories. Pretty much every part you can find in an AR, on an AK, they're doing it. And there's not a lot of models to look after outside of Magpul, maybe. Even then, they're laxing on a lot of their stuff. So, I mean, Joseph Rojas gun, that's all firearms grade stuff. Strike Industries. Yep. I mean, they're getting so detailed with everything. The way that they do their risers, the trigger frame or the magwell grip and things like that, the finger rest, your safety selector, your pistol grip. I mean, firearms manufacturers didn't really care about that stuff back in the day. You had your upper and lower receiver, and then you had your internal components, and even then you could get away by building your AR complete with knockoff AR components. Now you have guys that are same people who are making the internals are making handguards. They're making forward grips. I mean, everything. So
it's amazing that the color matches.
Yeah.
He bought this part from different manufacturer, and they
same exact color.
Yeah,
same exact color.
That's
That's wild.
That's what I was saying. That's pretty
amazing.
That's awesome.
They get this shut down for sure.
I can put those. What are those red?
Zip ties.
Zip
ties up there. I was like, are those zip ties?
Yeah, to add a little accent to it,
That's nice.
Just do some paracord.
Yeah, he messaged me the other day. Can it be done? Putting a firearm safety. Yes, you can, but a little modding, and so it turned out beautifully.
He's crazy. That's awesome.
Somebody was asking about the pistol price point and when coming out. We're hoping to get it out sometime next year. I don't have an exact date, but it's still on the way, still in progress. Like I said, we made an appointment that we're not going to show a product until it's almost ready to ship. So when it's not ready to ship, we're just going to talk about it and give a general kind of when it's going to be out. But when we actually showed you, you can expect it to be ready to ship. And you're asking for price point, we're looking for roughly $100, give or take. And then, like I said, we talk about this, and we want to make a secondary weapon, or secondary markers that for almost anyone you want to get, because it's we don't want to make one where it's so expensive and you don't want to get it. We want to make where secondary marker. We don't want to say weapon. Somebody message us saying don't call it weapon because it sounds violent, but So, yeah.
Ryan Laughlin, what I've been talking to you back and forth about your Blizzard not being able to shoot FSR. What's your question? So I know we were talking about the power tube, which comes up to my, just to let everyone know, if you buy a conversion kit from us, and you are installing your internals and you want to shoot FSR, you're going to have to shave down your power tube at least 2 millimeters. If you don't do that and you put the shape projectile bolt, what's going to happen is most likely the fins of that FSR is going to catch that, and it may not even look like it's protruding into the breech, but trust me, even the slightest variation that's into the breech is going to cause that to either jam or flip. So it also, with the recent batches of FSR, that some of them being longer, that may pose an issue with feeding. Unfortunately, we cannot keep up with the new issues with first strikes. We can't do it. We can only adjust our products so much, and it's at this point we're just kind of if you have an issue and it's flipping, there's a couple things with each one of those markers. Most of the time for any of the kits it'll be the power tube. That will be the only way that's really going to catch, but if anything else from there, you may want to try a different batch of FSR and then test from there.
One of the things I normally do, if you guys gonna do first strikes, so don't waste them, take the barrel off and then just do a cycle test. So you have your round inside the magazine, and it just kind of fire it off and just hold it off like this. So you fire it, hold it off. Don't let the striker bang it forward like that. That will sometimes you crack your first strike and make a mess. But kind of hold it back like this. Let it go, let it go, let it go. So follow with your striker, or you have a charging hand and follow from the top here. That way you can test at least 90% whether your first strike gonna feed or not. If it doesn't feed, you know right away. If it flip, you know right away. If your magazine is not working, you know right away. If any internal component that is not doing its job, you know right away. And then if that does well, then you put a mag in and you shoot it. But if that test failed, well, there's really no point in shooting at all. And if you're gonna shoot it and you don't want to waste the first strike, leave the barrel off. Take off the barrel. Your velocity can be like 80, 100. That's it. Just gonna poof out. You can actually, when you shoot, it's actually gonna land almost in front of you. So you can, like Jonathan said earlier, get a bed sheet, hang it up, and you shoot it. You catch it, and you won't lose any round. You don't break them, and then you don't make a mess. At the same time, you don't waste money, I would say, right?
So you're saying that the round is actually entering the chamber when it's fed? I don't get what you're saying.
We can, Ryan, we can take care of you offline here. There's a lot of
I'll look at your video.
Give us a call. We can FaceTime you. We can Skype you. We can do all kind of things for you. And Brian, yes, the pistol is first strike shape round ready.
All right, guys, that's all I got for you. You got anything else?
That's it, guys.
You got anything else you want to say? Anything?
I'm tired.
Yeah, me too.
We're gonna have a pretty full episode next week. Some new product for you guys to check out. So stay tuned.
See you guys out on the field.
Thank you for watching.